In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the load test for the backup batteries for a Fire-Lite FCPS-24FS8 fire alarm panel. And you can see on our card here, they have it marked for the 24FS8. And this is just the front of your can here. So just a quick intro. In 2019, they changed how we do backup battery testing. So in 2016 and older editions, it used to be primarily voltage test and load test. Now they added temperature testing and they added ohmic testing. So the whole process is you do temperature test semi-annually, voltage test semi-annually, ohmic test semi-annually, and the load test got bumped to 3 years or on a 3-year basis. So it's not done semi-annually anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the load test for this video. And actually, as of filming, it's December 2025. So these were put in more than 3 years ago. So this was put in was that August? No, September. Yeah, it's 22 and now it's 25. So we're a few months past that 3-year mark. So this is actually the time we would recommend load testing the battery. If it was before the 3-year mark, we would do the ohmic test where we're testing either the internal resistance or we're testing the internal conductance. And you do it off a baseline. So whenever you put in batteries, you put in your install date and you're supposed to do a baseline ohmic reading. And then every 6 months you measure against that baseline ohmic reading to see if it deviates for resistance greater than 40% or conductance greater than 30%. But we're going to do the load test because we're past that 3-year mark. But even if I would do it just for the purpose of this video to show the process. But these are past their 3-year mark, which means per the code, we could do a load test on them. So again, it used to be semi-annually. We were doing load testing. Now it's changed to a 3-year test. So let's, I'm going to position these a little bit better. Okay. So what we'll do is take our meter here and we'll just test them one at a time. So I'm going to disconnect my lead off the, off the battery. Don't let these cross as best you can. Okay, so we got our battery trouble because my battery's disconnected. So I'm going to take my leads. There we go. So hooked on. You can see it, got my meter. So I'm gonna power on my meter. So you want to, for my meter, I can select my amperage. So I hit my power select. I'm already at 7 amps because I have this saved already, but I could change my amperage if I need with up and down arrows. So these are 7 amps. So I'm gonna select them. And I'm going to run my load test now. So it's going to load test it based on my, and like I said, these are 12 volt 7 amps, but I'm going to test it based on my 7 amperage rating. So I'm going to do a test. Okay, so I have my capacitance test, my load test here at 11%. So per the code, anything less than 80% would be a fail. So this is well beyond failure because this is so low. Again, these were put in over 3 years ago, so they've had enough time in the system. Maybe they haven't been charging. I also have my voltages here. So even I have voltage open and voltage load. My voltage load is really low. It's like at 10.3, so it's really low. I also have a resistance, internal resistance, which is really high on here, but we're looking at this percentage number. So we're at 11%. So these fail. So again, anything below 80% is a failure. So if it's, if it's past the 3-year mark, you conduct your load test. If it's greater than 80%, then they pass and they could stay in service. But if it's below 80%, then they fail. So these fail because they're at 11%. Okay, so that's battery number 1. And whenever you fail, typically batteries, you're going to want to replace them both. But I'm going to test both just to show you all the process. But right away, just failing that one, I would fail both. So I would replace both batteries anyway. because I don't want to put a brand new battery with an old battery, and then, the old battery doesn't have as much load or capacitance as it used to. So, I'm gonna remove these. So get my battery trouble again. So I'm gonna hook on. Everyone's always calling me when I'm working. There we go. So I'm gonna hook on. So I got my leads on there. So I'm gonna do power on. So again, it automatically goes to my last amperage, which was 7 amps. So again, these are 12 volt 7 amps. So I got my leads on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my voltage. I'm gonna do my test. So I have my open voltage at 13. So I'm gonna do my test. I'm at 17%. So that's a fail. So again, anything below 80% is a fail per the code. So it's at 70%, so that's a really low fail. Also, the voltage under load is really low, and my milliohms for my internal resistance is really high. So these batteries are pretty well worn out. So this is below 80%, so that's a failure. So again, anything for the load test that's below 80% is a failure, and you do your load test on a 3-year basis. It's no longer semi-annual. So I'm just going to connect these back up. So I will be recommending to the client that they replace their batteries. Put those on. See if I can clear that trouble, hopefully. There we go. So now they're back in, hooked up. Okay. So, like I said, these are past their 3-year installation date. So that's when we perform our load test now. I performed the load test and these batteries fail because they're less than 80%. So we'll be writing these up in my report as a deficiency, and I will inform the client. Anyway, so that is how you do the backup battery load test for a Fire-Lite FCPS-24FS8 booster panel.